Day two of self-documentation. This time I'm on my patio and I hope the transportation sounds aren't too overwhelming because I have been told that I'm quite soft-spoken, but there's only a few minutes of daylight left and I wanted to record a recap of my day of rest. I did not apply to any jobs today. Instead, I woke up and I did some chores, and then I marinated a chicken, and then I had some oatmeal, and then a nice smoothie to follow that before I left and soaked up the sun all day on the beach, watching surfers catch really high waves because there has been lots of rain over the past few days, which is why I have been locked in the house. In in desperate need of some lizard time, which is what I call my time in the sun. Um, yeah. Also, this is going to be a fun video to look back on because I am curious as to um, my eye movements and how they may or may not. Oh, let me stop overanalyzing my fidgeting. Whatever. This is just for me anyway. Um, yeah. So I guess today's topic is why I moved to Europe because now I'm leaving after being here for 3 years. I'm from the States, I'm from Georgia, and I have lived there my entire life. I can't help but be distracted by the buses and stuff that come by. So, yeah, I'm just going to be watching that while I'm rambling. But yes, born and raised in Georgia my whole life. Um, Very rarely traveled growing up. If we did, it was always to either just a family reunion in some place like Alabama or Tennessee, or we would go on family vacations only to Florida. I can explain more about why that restriction was the case later. Um, but by the time I was grown, I developed a lot of wanderlust and thought about where else I could live in the States that would be a good place to land for a couple of years. But nothing really seemed to be a better replacement for my hometown of basically Atlanta. Um, yeah, Atlanta is like the black mecca of the United States, for lack of a better description. I should not say black mecca, that's a very outdated term, but you know what I mean. So that's what got me to look outside of the country. And yeah, then I considered where it would be safe for me to walk around independently and have my full boisterous personality um, as a woman and not be too misaligned with local culture. Because I have traveled since being an adult and I have been to places where you do need a male guardian to maintain any sort of comfort. Um, and I did not want to put myself in that sort of dynamic because I already dealt with a lot of harassment and stuff at home growing up and as an adult. So it needed to be a safer place. Um, and it needed to have a decent English speaking population and lots of sun. I cannot sacrifice my need for sun. Um, and I came here on my honeymoon trip a couple years ago. It was such a nice reset of my nervous system. Um, and after moving back home and being traumatized by a series of mass shootings, um, on top of lingering trauma from a close friend of mine being murdered and other people that I wasn't close with being murdered. I'm not even from this. I mean, I'm not even from the hood. I promise you. I went to a very nice high school, and um, still these things are inescapable in the states. So by the time I reached my current age, my body was giving me signs that I needed to slow down, and so I listened to it finally. And after getting a remote job, I planned to actually take steps to leave the country. And so I settled on in Portugal. My husband and I moved here. We are now separated. It was a long time coming. It's not like a tragic thing. Um, but yes, we moved here. We lived together for the first 2 years of me being here. And in my third year, I got my own place, which is where I'm currently seated. Um, and got adjusted to my single life after being in a relationship slash marriage for 10 years. Got to learn a lot about myself since moving here. Just letting the motorcycles pass. I've learned a ton about myself since moving here. And in those learnings, I have discovered that I am better suited for a place that is more aligned with nature. Um, we don't even have squirrels here. I've not seen one since being in Europe, and I used to fight them out of my garden all the time in the States, and who would have thought I would end up missing them? Same with deer and owls. I miss nature. I mean, there's birds here, but you know, after a while, they just don't do it for you anymore. I also miss warmer people. I miss being able to smile and speak to people on the street. I'm not even speaking. I just miss being able to make eye contact with people and smile at them and they smile back at you. I've had to train myself to not be so warm here, and I don't like that. Um, I could make a whole separate video on the surprising things I have discovered since moving here about the local culture and the mentality that may come with it, and how I experienced that as a minority myself. But it has been beautiful for resetting my nervous system, and it has taught me so much about myself. And I feel like I have fully um, become comfortable with forging a new life path since taking the journey of leaving my comfort zone and moving here, and then leaving a relationship that was not right for me, that was not right for years, but you stay out of comfort and out of fear, and no more fear anymore. And that lack of fear has led me to taking the plunge into getting a certification so that I can start a new career path after being laid off from my corporate role. Um, and that new career path is why I am moving to Asia in just a few months. I have lots of things lined up, and I'm very excited to take the next step on my journey, I guess, of becoming a full-fledged, self-actualized person. Anyway, yeah, I'll stop rambling now, and I'll come back tomorrow, as I promised myself, because we are self-documenting this journey. Okay.